Mr. Bhagat?
Yeah. Okay. With my respect to General Weston, see, if I made him feel somewhere that I have said so derogatory remarks against the military, you are absolutely free, sir, to charge me of anything. I have my regards for the army, and I have said it earlier in front of you that military has been much more disciplined compared to the Assam Rifles. I don't know if you remember. My name is Professor Bhagat Oenam for your kind information. You're absolutely free to charge me for anything. I stand by what I say. But when Kartikeji asked me what is the ground reality, and it is very, very disturbing situation under which one sees, and it's not only one incident, fully aware of how the events have unfolded from 3rd of May and even prior to that. So there is already a fact finding committee, and I hope the fact finding committee comes out very well, clearly how it started. We must not just come to the peace without justice, because you can have an argue sitting around the table and you say all right, everything is fine, but how it started is also very important. In many times when such violence happens and peace takes place, the instigator of the violence goes scot free because they are politically charged, they are politically connected. In this case, with all my confidence, I say that Kuki
It's okay.
militants
I've got it. I'll get it.
somehow has indirect support. I use this word, sir. Again, I say in front of you, indirect support in the sense that Assam Rifles remain almost mute spectator in all these things happening. They are next to the Assam Rifles, yet they can come and initiate violence at any time. They are very, very strong, with strong arms in their hands. And the other side is also now, in that point of time on 5th or 6th of May, I said that it is one militant group against the vulnerable community. Now, after 60 days, I say it is between two militant groups now. The Meitei community majority have also been arming themselves. Those who had surrendered, they have joined the ranks and gone to the front. And this, I say, is the failure of the state. And when I say failure of the state, it is both the central as well as the state government. If the army's hands are tied, then they should find ways, at least the governments, to ensure that army comes in. Otherwise, things are going in completely free for all. That is the situation I am reporting to you, sir. It is not about my viewpoints, it is how things are happening in the ground, most unfortunate. And this must be happening in the cookie side. My frustration was only coming out in a very derogatory sounding remarks when I said that all have become headhunters. This was not prescribing to it, but something very unfortunate that has happened. And people are not guilty of doing this. This is the most unfortunate part that I was
Okay.
saying in a different tone. Please try to understand this. And the anger, like, see, people, those who should have been in the field, it is a monsoon time. The farmers are unable to go to the fields, and they are all sitting by the roadsides. Think of this next year, what is going to happen. It will be all, people will be starving. Their economy will go down. We will be only dependent on the distribution system of the government of India. Our economy is getting shattered. In both sides, this must be. But unfortunately, things have become so bad. I did not know this, that when people with arms, AK 47s, are moving so freely, and there is no presence of the state forces of any kind in any of the sites. That is what I said. It looks like a civil war. I was next, almost 100 meters next to the fire, range, and the fight is going on, and suddenly one person among the civilians is also hit by the stray bullet.
Okay.
So That is a situation in which we are. The frustration, that was I was sharing. This is not about my approving violence. If you are thinking that, then you are absolutely wrong. And I'm little disturbed and also sad that Reverend was making the charges like 90% of the 99% by the Meiteis. This is absolutely uncalled for a person like you, sir. You are a reverend, man of God.
I will have a response
Not
to your
like
take on
me.
that, sir.
Okay, I
Please.
think I'm very happy. At least there is a dignity, semblance of calm, and a beauty of conversation in this debate. मेस्टन साहब वो कहते हैं ना हिंदी में, मैं नॉर्थ यूपी से आगरा से आता हूँ, कि प्यार भी तुमसे करेंगे, गुस्सा भी तुमसे करेंगे, लड़ेंगे भी तुमसे, तुम्हारे साथ भी रहेंगे.
आपसे नहीं
इंडियन
सर, आप आर्मी ऑफिसर है, आपसे गुस्सा नहीं करेंगे तो किससे गुस्सा करेंगे?
वही तो कह रहा हूँ ना कि
You
वो
are
इंडियन
supposed
आर्मी
to be
बिल्कुल वैसे ही है कि इट
defending
रिवॉल्व्स
all
अराउंड
of
इट.
us.
ठीक है, मेस्टन साहब
But
को बोलने
people are
दीजिए.
fighting among themselves. I don't see the Assam rifle. I don't see the police. I don't see the army. That is why I'm complaining. I'm angry with you. Don't see that I'm provoking and supporting the insurgents. Sorry. And last point about Meitei women, sir. Please do not see the Meitei Maira 5 only as a harbinger of peace. If you look from 1904 onwards, they were all fighting side by side with the men folk against the British, against the wrong traders, and this time also against what you call infiltrators.
ओके, मेस्टन साहब, अब मेस्टन साहब को, उसके बाद मैडम गुइटे, और फिर मैं रंजना जी के पास जाऊंगा, एंड देन रेवरेंड.
Yeah, now there is a little different tone and tenor. In the first time, it was very, very clear. The word which was used is written with me.
जनरल वेस्टर्न, जनरल तभी स्क्रीन में आप बीच में आप बैठे हैं. There is a reason.
हाँ, नहीं, fine. I do understand. Now it is again now being stated on the Assam Rifles. Can I ask this gentleman or anyone the question: who is officering the Assam Rifles?
Indian Army officers.
Army, sir, Army, yourself and your juniors.
Yes, so exactly. Today, the IGAR, who is posted in Imphal, he is the most brilliant officer. And if he hears this statement, he'll be also aghast that comments are being passed on the efficacy and functioning of the Assam Rifles in the second statement of the gentleman. Okay. Now, that is point one.
Half a second, sir, a question to you.
I don't want to get into any argument with you because you have made some large number of statements. This gentleman also stated there is a civil war going on. I endorsed it. Yes, it is taken the dimensions of the civil war. So to remind him, I am very practical and I'm a man who always looks for reconciliation. That has been my approach right from day one. And I have, by God's grace, had one of the finest appointments in the Indian Army, including I have seen bloodshed in Rwanda, where Hutus and Tutsis, 1.5 million people were killed. I've been in Afghanistan for almost 3 years, where I've seen children dying of suicide bombings. So I've seen a lot of bloodshed. I've been in J&K, I've been in Northeast. And of course, I was in Mozambique. So a man who has seen so much, obviously, he has understood what humanity is and what is the cost of life. Everything in this world can be recovered. A lost life cannot be recovered. So it is, and I've been harping throughout, it is Indian lives which are being lost. I do not know why this word Kuki and Maiti keeps coming up by so many panelists. We should just talk they are people of Manipur. And even if we have to be little balanced, we can use the word hill people or the valley people. But every time the word is being used, Kukis and Nagas, and everyone is blaming each other. There is no end to this blame game. And I told you, a country which has witnessed Hutus and Tutsis so much, 1.5 billion genocide, today they are reconciled in peace. They are doing this country. If someone goes, I've been to those places. Today, I get feedback. They are so well knit as a society. The differences, and that is what exactly I've been highlighting. Manipuris, the people of Manipur, irrespective of the ethnicity. My first posting started from here in '82. The people were coexisting so peacefully. Minor though, वो हर इंसान में हर जगह होता है थोड़ा मोड़ा. But I never had these problems. Never. And I'm reiterating it time and again. So people can coexist. Now, how you use people, either though you can put them astray or put them in mainstream. And therefore, all people sitting here on these panels, we have a very, very important role. Rather to continue to fester wounds and keep adding on to wounds, we have to look for healing. And therefore, we must understand. And again, I would say the law and order is not the responsibility of the Assam Rifle. I'm making that very clear. Law and order is of the state police. Assam Rifles is not under the Chief Minister, it is under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So Assam Rifle cannot be blamed on this whole thing. They are just sitting quietly and they are not doing. It is a state police which is directly under the state administration where no one can understand where the blame lies. Whose weapons have gone missing today? Have we heard any weapon of Assam Rifles or Indian Army has gone missing? No. But we have heard so many weapons. The numbers are known to all the panelists here. How many weapons are missing? So why were they allowed? After all, I'm quite sure that the police was not only from one ethnicity. The leader could have been from one ethnicity, but the cadres were from which ethnicity? The answer is well known to everyone. So was it in connivance? Was it that they ran away? Was it that they were overpowered? I am no one to comment. And but all of us with our judgment can understand policeman firing no shots and giving the weapons and running away their post. Correct. It is uncalled for. So after all, there is a DG police, but the cadres are also there. There is a SP, there is a system, DSP, sub-inspectors. Where have they vanished suddenly? After all, I can't agree. Then every time drug issue is brought out, I have been reiterating, drug is not by one particular ethnicity. It is a conduit. Everyone is involved. Police is involved. Political people are involved there. Everyone is involved. Now, who's involved? Answers are well known. Someone may be very honest and upright who does not want drugs. So all these cartels are not that it is particular ethnicity or anyone. Drugs are coming into Punjab today. Who's sending it? Pakistan. Who's on this side? We Indians. So who's involved into it? We know it is our Indians, fellow Indians. No, we can't say that they are from particular community or particular tribe or so and so. No. So this is what we have to understand, and therefore I actually compliment Karthikeya, you and Brijesh and your efforts. Actually, you are the only one who are trying to do reconciliatory by taking the debate in, not a debate, the discussion and the views in such a discussion. Every time you only ask one question, what is the way out? And if you also recollect, I've been only, for us one person, I've been talking only of the way out.
तभी तो मेस्टन साहब बार बार आपको क्यों मैं ब्रिजेश बोलते हैं बुलाएं, क्योंकि एक यू नो दिस इज लाइक जैसे भगत साहब ने बोला यू कैन नॉट हैव पीस विदाउट जस्टिस. जब तक आप एक मैसेज को बार बार रीइंफोर्स नहीं करते हैं, इफ यू डोंट रीइंफोर्स द मैसेज व्हाट्स द वे आउट, यू कैन नॉट हैमर आउट अ कॉन्वर्सेशन. It's very easy for me to, sir, hammer out a conversation. Reverend, you speak against Bhagat Sahab. Bhagat Sahab, what has Reverend said? You speak against him. Madam Guite, it's very easy, sir. That's the easiest thing I can do on TV. It's the easiest thing. 24 years I have spent in TV. I am also not young. But having visited Manipur, and I said, sir, having the honor of visiting, being part of the UN peacekeeping forces, Indian peacekeeping forces in Congo, Goma, I have stayed there. I understand what civil war looks like. Covered Syria from Damascus to Aleppo on road and getting lost in Deir ez-Zor. I understand in a very limited way, I understand what conflicts are, what conflicts can do to civil society. It ruptures them. It ruptures bonds of decency, sense of ordinariness, your timing. Women cannot go out and get milk. You know, as like for example, Mr. Bhagat said, people will starve. You know, no one has spoken about this. Log bhuke mar jayenge, you know. So, you know, my whole purpose of doing this conversation every day is that at least temperatures will come down one day, and one day I'll be very happy to say there's nothing to report on Manipur. I'm waiting for a day, then I'll say there's nothing to report on Manipur. Today I'm going to do a story on Mizoram. And tomorrow I'm going to do a story on Arunachal Pradesh. Actually, I am desperate looking for that timeline which say, Manipur ka ho gaya, let's do a story on Assam. वहाँ बहुत दिनों से story नहीं की गई है. That is the only reason. Reverend, to you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, giving a respect to especially our professor. Well, we should expect a debate, an argument, and this is a place where we are trying to, you know, justify one another. Justify
you know,
our own
Reverend,
selves.
what is a
Yes.
good debate?
Yes.
that
Yes.
once it is over, we can come back again tomorrow, look into each other's eye and say, can we have another debate?
All right.
That's a good debate.
Okay.
Or else
Now-
it's a bad debate.
now-
if मेरी debate
okay.
खत्म हो जाए, जिसमें my guests cannot speak to each other, I have done a bad job.
I appreciate the maturity of our professor, but I would like to counter to what he said. First of all, yesterday incident that happened in Langsa, that attack was made by the cookies. That's what he claimed. And of course, I'm not in the ground. Right now, I'm in Delhi. As I mentioned, I came for my family purpose. But meanwhile, you guys call me up, and But as far as every
Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you, sir. As far as every information that I have received, it was our Métis militants who went there to attack. Now, I have to put something beyond the topic for additional things. Whenever the media is being put up, media has hardly come in favor of the truth, And today I'm here, I'm so happy. So what our professor had said, that the attack was started by the cookies. And he told me as a liar. And I would not lie, I don't want to lie, but I might be misinformed. But I don't want to lie, and I will never lie for that. But I might be misinformed. However, as far as the information I have got from the ground reality is our valley-based community who went there to attack. And meanwhile, when the attack happens, the people who are defending themselves, they have to fight back.
Fair enough. You said,
Yes.
the figures can go. Ranjana ji, you are there
Yes.
with us. I could not come to you, Ranjana ji, because, your net was not working. I know you are on phone line with me. Your comments, madam? Ranjana ji? I think Ranjana ji is not there. Madam Guiter, you wanted to come in. You had raised your hand.
Yes, thank you, Kartike. Actually, I wanted to make 2 points here, like regarding that mutual coherence that we have in our JDU faculty and fraternity is something. I also have that mutual respect for Professor Bagadoinam. And it's really a tragedy and unfortunate that we, being from the same place, same state, working together for a development projects and all, and suddenly this violence happened, and it's not our choice, and we are put in such a situationship that one have to kind of either we mediate or we try to, because in academia we always try to bring about a solution to a problem. So trying to see all the facts and figures and not try to blame game at each other. That is one point which I want to make. And secondly, I also want to make a point on General Mason said about the Mera Paivis. Mera Paivis has been a women group, and we all know, and I'm a very strong advocate of gender equality. And but again, I'm totally against exploitation of women empowerment, exploitation of women in the name of empowerment. So in this present scenario, in this Manipur violence, presently right now, how the government and how Biren Singh's majoritarian politics is using this Mera Paivis is quite unfortunate to me. So there is one which I wanted to strongly make a point here, and in fact would like to condemn the way how they have been used as, in term when we look about how this the women protester was called out of their legions, and then who dotted a 200-meter long stretch from the Chief Minister Bungalow to the Raj Bhavan on that day to tear apart Biren's resignation letter by so another cabinet colleague along with them. So all this give a very, I would say, it makes a very good political optics. And secondly, the dictates of the Mera Paivis and the implication of this institutional ecosystem on the future of democracy in the state, it becomes very apparent here. Firstly, what General Mason was saying, and I could resonate his, anger towards in terms of how the army were not allowed to do their work, and then where you put ahead your women's group to block the army from doing their work. Like, for example, the blocking the deployment of Central Security Forces in the foothills, which has emerged as the buffer zone to secure peace on the pretext that they support the Kuki Zombie groups, right? And secondly, ensuring the release of members of two banned Métis terrorist organizations on 2 occasions with full impunity. And thirdly, there is a large-scale mobilization of women and mobs in thousands, which frontally led the state police and the armed militants in unleashing attack on an arson of Kuki villages at, we all know, in Azigzang and Khopibung and Khamenglok on the 11 and 13. So these are some of the examples where, you know, in principally, I have a lot of issue on how political interest is kind of exploiting women in the name of, you know, empowerment, and also on, like, you know, where the impunity of the woman, if where armed forces cannot kind of are restricted because of the gender equation. So this is the point which I wanted to make. And this kind of love-hate relationship of Biren Singh with the Mera Paipis may not be very conducive for future.
I think, Madam Goite, it's beyond a person now. You know, there's a word which which has stuck with me: peace with justice. General Meston has served in Rwanda. How can there be peace with justice in one? What is your ground experience from Rwanda? That's the worst genocide which took place in last 30 years. How was it controlled?
Yeah, it was actually not controlled then. The United Nations were there. They could not control it. And in fact, the people developed hatred for the United Nations peacekeeping forces. I was not part of the United Nations peacekeeping. You know, one is the peace enforcement. I was there as a UN military observer with people from various other nationalities and monitoring the peace. And obviously, the whole system failed. And I think it was brutal killing by each other. But finally, the president of Rwanda realized that it does not require an external solution. The internal solution is to resolve the differences between the Hutus and the Tutsis. And therefore, he did many, many positive things, had a lot of delegations and, you know, talking to people from both the ethnicities, and he constituted teams, and it took lots and lots of time. Now, I was not there, of course, then, because this is all later. I've been only hearing from the people and through the internet. Everything happened so amicably. There were peace marches. That is how I got the idea. I said, and if you recollect, Kartikeya stated, let us use women, children, aged people from both the ethnicities. Let them, you know, constructive way you have to use them, not in a destructive way, the way they have been used now. Get both the communities, announce on loudspeakers, neutral team is required. Get the people walking together on the streets from both ethnicities, ladies, children, everyone walking together with the placards. We reconcile. This is what it is. It is our land. It is our people. We are dying. It is Manipuris who have died. All these humane messages, when they go, it makes an impact. And thereafter, the terrorists are all known to each ethnicity. Today, every ethnicity, they know who are their terrorists. After all, the women got the terrorists released who had killed the Indian army. They knew that they were terrorists, and they knew that one of them was the leader of that gang which killed the Indian army soldiers. So people have to be involved. It is a people's problem. The people have to sort it out. We as outsiders and the governments can only get these people moving. People can be swayed the way you want to sway them. People of this country are very good. I have served in every part of India. Northeast, I have been in so many places, right from Mizoram to Nagaland to every place. The people are very, very good everywhere, whether it is Kashmir. People have to be just brought together, and that is a responsibility. And that is why, if you see, Kashmir, the Indian Army was always doing Sadbhavna missions. We have taken people from that part of the country to so many parts of the country, taken them, got them, met with the president, the prime minister. So some kind of a thing has to be thought of, and all the people, you know, language is very important. Yeah, I recollect. One word can just make a difference. You know, like someone is speaking, you rightly said, not to say he is lying or he is doing this. We should not even resort to. He's got a point of view, just accept it or don't deny. So our language has to be very decent. Language by leaders, language by people of Manipur has to be very, very respectful. Half of the damage in the world is done because of wrong words, wrong language. And let me tell you, today the first time in my life I've been coming on TV channels now almost since 3 years, courtesy Afghanistan, and I have never ever raised my voice in any TV channel, including with Pakistanis. They also respect me. They always call me General Saab ne ye jo bola. But this is the first time I had to raise because there was a direct discussion, and now I will not reiterate whatever happened. So otherwise, I'm one of the most coolest man. I always look for reconciliation, and I've been known in the Indian Army for my this approach. So reconciliation approach. In fact, now I started thinking that I wanted to collect some very like-minded people and take this proposal to the MHA and take a team myself. And we can touch the hearts of the people. It is possible. Everything is possible. To divide people is possible. To unite people is possible. Who has to decide? People like us. The central government, after all, today, we all keep telling central government, we are all part of the country. Why can't some of us people take initiative, give a proposal? Every attempt should be made. People are good. They won't, and if we keep talking and blaming each other, let me tell you, the wounds are going to be so deep, that tomorrow, yes, temporarily this problem may appear that it has been resolved. But let me tell you, and I stated, the entire terrain between Irrawaddy River to Brahmaputra is mountainous. It is all hill. And I have seen the insurgency movements there. Both sides of the border are used. The terrain is totally porous. You can put any amount of army, any amount of BSF, any amount of border sealing force. It is so easily crossable. You can put any amount of fencing. There are large, huge, porous borders. So we have to understand the ground situation. If tomorrow this situation spirals out of control, the entire hill area of Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram would also be encompassed in this wildfire, and then there is no stopping, and then the Indian Army will be battling all this rather than battling the main enemy, which is China, on the line of actual control. So peace marches, peace committees from the people. We should involve people. People are the solution. If tomorrow we just get some outsiders and any interlocutor or anyone, he is not part of a system. People who are sitting in this panel, they can be part of this peace, this thing. Let us spread. If we only have to keep blaming, see today, it is like who slapped first in any situation. So how do you resolve it? Someone has to, and you look at Gandhiji's words, blind one eye and then the whole world will become blinded. So people have to spread, and why I'm actually harping on this is I've seen so much of blood shed. I cannot forget scenes where suicide, small children in Afghanistan, boys and girls I saw their bodies, they were like minced meats. I used to feel so bad. See, this is what is humanity all about, killing each other. Even animals are not so savage about it. It is we people who have become so savage, human beings. So who's got these words, types? So all this can be sorted out. लोगों को बिठाओ, लोगों को प्यार से बिठाओ, सब possible है. I've done such healing acts in Kashmir.